Welcome to Tattoos in Review. Today we are at Gray Wash Tattoos to meet artist-owner Hector Martinez. Hector is bringing his West Coast flavor of black and gray wash to Camden, New Jersey. Today we're going to take this stencil, and if you stick around to the end, we're going to get to see one of his works of art. Now let's step inside and let's get in. What's up, Hector, man? Thank you for doing this for me today, dude. I really do appreciate it. We're gonna get right into it, though, because this is the first time being at your new shop, man.
Yeah.
How long you been at this new shop?
Actually, it hasn't even been a year yet. So July will be a year.
So Hector, tell me where your shop's located. Give me the address.
So my shop is called Gray Wash Tattoo. It's located in Camden, New Jersey, which is actually South Jersey.
What's the address?
1513 Monty from Avenue, Camden, New Jersey, 08104.
You got an Instagram page?
Yes, my Instagram is actually HM_tattoos. And our shop page is actually Gray Wash Tattoo, LLC, NJ.
If somebody were trying to get a hold of you to set up an appointment, what's the best way?
The best way is through my Instagram or the tattoo shop's Instagram.
Hector, you take any Venmo, PayPal, anything like that, credit card?
Yeah.
You strictly cash?
We strictly do cash. I personally do take deposits for my appointments, only because I work through appointments. I'm the only artist here that works through appointments, and that's because I'm just, high in demand here in my area. So I do take cash at deposits, and then everything else is cash.
How many other tattoo artists do you have working in your shop right now?
Yeah. So I have 2 other tattoo artists. Technically I have one other one, and I have an apprentice here, and I also have a piercer here also.
So you do have tattoos and piercing?
Yes.
I know the last time I ran into you, you were up in North Jersey.
Yeah.
Have you been pretty much tattooing up there?
Technically, I actually took some time off from tattooing. I recently had a daughter with some disabilities. So took some time off from tattooing. I went through a lot of mental depression and stress. But after that, I wanted to get back into tattooing and decided that traveling wasn't my thing anymore. Decided to just open up a shop here in my home city, and been here ever since.
How's business, man?
So far, so good, man. I'm always butling. When people found out I was back tattooing, it was crazy because, taking that time off just to get my mentality right, it was a little hard, but, just knowing that the support system that I had, the clientele, just people in general just love me. So coming back into it, it was easy. So, I've been slaying ever since.
So I tell you what, let's give these guys a background on you. Yeah. I mean, I know some of your stories, so I want everybody else to hear it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey into becoming a tattoo artist and what made you decide to pursue this career.
Yeah. So with tattooing, I've been tattooing in the whole about 13 years now. When I first started off, actually it was just really nothing that I wanted to pursue. It was just something that I tried just to have fun with as a so-called scratcher. Started doing that, and then it was terrible. Fucked up experience. Can't really explain too much about it, but it was bad. But I kept going with it. I kept showing them, even the people that were tattooing me at the time, I was just showing them that I was actually starting to get really into it. And they saw that passion, they seen that I was sincere about it. So a lot of the dudes that were actually tattooing me growing up, they started giving me pointers and advice and teaching me the difference between the coil machines back then and different needle groupings. And that actually helped me out get a lot better than what I was doing. And there was one specific shop that actually gave me an opportunity. And I learned a lot from them, but the owner at that shop was pretty much always booked. And it was really hard for him to actually sit down and give me pointers and teach me a little bit more. So I didn't feel like the shop was actually necessarily right for me. So I went back to tattooing at home, and then wound up coming to a local shop called Spanky's Tattoo. And it's actually this old building. And here, when I came here, they gave me the opportunity. They saw the potential and stuff like that. But I had to learn everything from scratch. I'm talking about from building coil machines from hand down in the basement to, flash work and things of that nature. So that actually kind of elevated my work and teaching me how to build a way better portfolio. So that went well for me. But then again, I started to have that mentality, like I couldn't stay in just one location and with the same group of artists around me. I had to go out and travel and, you know, experience different shops and different styles and different people.
Just grow.
Right, I had to just grow in general. So what I did was, there was a shop over in New Brunswick. It was called Insanity. I noticed that they had an ad and, on social media. They were looking for like guest artists and stuff, so I reached out to them and they gave me an opportunity to go up there 1 weekend and do a guest spot. So I went up there for the weekend and actually made double than what I would make here, actually triple than what I would make here in Camden. So I decided that, hey, yo, I think this is the shop for me. The artists up there were amazing, everybody was talented. The shop managers, the owner, everybody was just awesome, down to earth. They accepted me with open arms. And that's when the tattooing, for me, just took a huge turn. Like, I was able to focus more on my style. I didn't have to, instead of doing small walk-ins or doing tattoos that we were already used to doing on a daily basis, I was able to focus more on bigger pieces, realism, or, you know, more like a West Coast style black and gray, which is something that I love to do. So ever since then, like, my career has taken off, and that's pretty much how my journey started and continues to go on.
So I know you touched on it real quick, but let's get into your style.
Okay.
Because I've seen your work on both ends, black and gray and color.
Yeah.
But I know you prefer black and gray,
Right.
so let's get into it, man. What's, you know, where did you pick that up at?
Yeah. All right. So again, you know, being here in the city, Camden is an urban community and stuff like that. Majority of our work is just black and gray. You got a lot of dark skinned people here, so majority of work is black and gray. So black and gray has always been my go-to thing. When it comes to color, like, I love doing color, but I also hate it at the same time. Reason being is just it's more time consuming, you know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times people can't sit too long, and they really do tend to hate to actually break their tattoo session down into sessions. So I kind of stay away from the color thing, although like people love the color work I put out, I just kind of stay away from it. But black and gray has always been like my specialty. A lot of my favorite tattoo artists are black and gray artists. A lot of the artists out there that inspire me from the West Coast, and that's why I kind of adopted that West Coast style, that heavily saturated black and gray, and pretty much brought it here to the East Coast, and that's pretty much where really my reputation has like really evolved, was adopting that West Coast black and gray style.
So while we're talking about that West Coast black and gray, man,
Right.
talk about the flash that you got hanging on your wall, because you told me a cool story when I walked in here today.
So majority of the flash on the wall, if not all of it, is actually by Bookstar. It's from Dallas, Texas. Great brother, traveler, and yeah, he's amazing. I met him a few times over at the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention, and I think it was in Baltimore, New York also. But Bookstar is actually like, really famous, really known. He recently passed away a couple years back with cancer. You know, God bless his dead. But yeah, so pretty much being my style is black and gray, and Bookstar was a black and gray artist, I kind of dedicated our flash work and our walls to our shop straight black and gray, just keep it with all Bookstar art.
So can you share like a particularly challenging tattoo that you've done, you know, kind of how you worked your way through it, whether it was the style of the tattoo or the client themselves?
More difficult style of tattoo that I've done personally was more like portraits or anything with realism. I like to take on a challenge, especially when it comes to different shade tones with black and gray. You know, a lot of people, they tend to think that black and gray is strictly only 3 different shades of gray. And there's actually multiple shades, you know what I'm saying? But taking on that challenge of realism or anything that's heavily saturated, that's what I like to enjoy doing. And it actually motivates me. Like, I might go into a piece thinking that I might not be able to execute it properly, but then as I'm going through the tattoo and I'm start saturating it properly, like, it boosts my confidence and it actually motivates me and gets me excited to doing it. So I always look for a challenge when I'm doing a piece.
Have you ever done a piece for somebody and, you know, they got done and you know, this isn't really kind of what I wanted, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that situation?
Honestly, I think that's all artists. You know, if any artist ever said that they haven't done a piece that they weren't happy with, it's full of shit, bro. Like, we've all been and done pieces where we weren't satisfied with it. Not that the tattoo wasn't bad, but we know that we could have done better with it, and that's actually just a growing experience.
Or the client was super hyper critical.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we go through that all the time. Dealing with clients like that though, that comes with experience. You know what I'm saying? All the years of tattooing. But once you learn how to deal with certain clients and stuff like that, it gets a lot easier.
Because of the TV shows that are out right now, and the amount of time that they show doing tattoos and stuff like that, how do you deal with the expectations of these people that want this crazy tattoo and they expect it for like $500 because they saw it on TV?
Yeah. Starting off my career with walk-in shops, we pretty much learn how to tattoo fast, right? We go in, we do a certain piece, and we try to knock it out within a certain period of time, so that way we could go on and move on to the next client. So throughout the years, I learned and mastered how to do that, but I also learned how to take a few steps back and slow down just to make sure that the work is a lot more cleaner, but I can still knock out a beautiful, decent piece in, maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours. So a lot of times when people see these TV shows and they think that this certain piece took fucking 12 hours to do, which, well, technically we know it might have taken 12 hours and they're doing it for like a fucking hour. We know it's full of shit. So a lot of times I have to sit down and break down to the client like, hey, look, we can give you this piece. It might not take this amount of time, or it might just take this amount of time, you know what I'm saying? But I'm always honest with the client. If I know that their pain tolerance isn't up there like that, I let them know that it's best to break it down into sessions. I don't mind doing sessions. I always give the person an opportunity to heal up and come back and start knocking things out like the proper way.
That actually puts me into the next question.
Okay.
Do you usually charge by piece, by the hour?
Okay. Yeah, so again, coming from the city, a lot of people don't really like to get charged by the hour. So I personally charge by the piece. I'm not a money hungry dude either, so I try to make sure that I'm reasonable with pricing. Just because I want them to have a fun experience and get their money's worth. I know the difficult times that everybody go through. So charging people fucking $300 an hour, $200 an hour, like that's crazy. Like a lot of these people bust their ass working 9 to 5 jobs, have bills to pay, kids to take care of, and they still want to get something beautiful, something that that they could just think about the time that they got it done and shit like that. So I try to give them the best experience as possible for a decent amount. Like I try not to cheat myself at all because equipment costs. But at the same time, I try not to rob people. I try to make sure that I give them.
Yeah, but you gotta respect that, man. I mean, you're willing to work with somebody that might want a tattoo and or a couple hundred short of the expected price.
Yeah, facts, definitely.
That's you gotta respect that, man. I mean, there's not a lot of guys out there that'll do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, coming up, I personally began tattoos since I was 13. So, I didn't have any money at that time. Whatever I was able to scrape up or run in the streets and shit like that before I got into tattooing, that's how I was able to afford to get tattoos. Again, I don't cheat myself, but I also know that, work with people because all they're going to do is just show off that piece of work and they're going to bring you clientele, you know what I'm saying?
Or they're going to come back when they got more money anyway.
Exactly, right. So, and another thing, I never look for tips, you know what I'm saying? I never expect anybody to tip me. They do it on their own, but, just again, coming from the urban community I come from the hood, is like I don't expect those things, but at the same time I try to treat everybody equally and make sure the prices are right.
So with your clientele, I mean, are those people that have been following you for a while? Because I know me personally, I only go to certain guys just because I'm comfortable with them, and I also know that the work they're doing is solid.
Yeah. So with my throughout the years of tattooing, majority of my clients are people who's been super loyal to me. I've seen a lot of my clients that had tattoos from me from the early days, and I'll ask them like, yo, let me fix that. They're like, nah, man, I like to show people, the experience and how you came a long way and stuff like that. So I enjoy those things. But a lot of my clients are actually repeat clientele, and then they'll go and show their friends and family members. So now I'm at the point in my career where I actually have people that fly out, whether it's Florida, North Carolina, and stuff like that. They come on, they get tattooed by me. Word of mouth, man. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, those have been a lot of heavy factors in my career, in my success so far.
Hopefully we're gonna add YouTube to that.
All right, yeah.
So can you tell me about a memorable tattoo experience, as far as a tattoo that you've done that sticks out in your mind?
I guess it's more so the leg sleeves I've been doing, those are just to be able to look back to where I started and where I'm at now. That's what really memorizes it. It really catches me because I would have never thought in a million years that just coming from the streets that I'll be as successful as I am now, or just being a shop owner now.
So you talked about it real quick with Instagram and Twitter. Is that how you stay up to date on some of the new styles, or is it more of word of mouth from other tattoo artists, or a combination maybe?
As far as like styles, I try to focus on my own style, which is more, like I said, is more like a West Coast black and gray style, heavy saturated. But I do love social media, and I do try to keep up with everybody. There's a lot of artists that I actually follow from the West Coast that actually motivates me. Like, every time I see them post shit, it's like, damn, like, you know, like, I gotta step my game up, you know what I'm saying? So like, when I see stuff like that, definitely, but yeah, like, social media, it definitely plays a huge part on, you know, like my success and my motivation and stuff like that.
You know, you said that you keep saying about the West Coast, and at the tattoo convention in Philly, those guys had their own row, and it was like murderer's row. Every one of them guys was like phenomenal. And you know, look, that style has been honed, let's say, I don't know, since the 70s, 60s.
Right.
But now it's just turned the page to a whole new level, and I don't know if it's because of the internet. With the amount of art that you're exposed to now.
You know, technology is changing. That's what really set the tone for everything. You know, when it comes from like needles, tattoo machines, and things like that, all of that shit's evolved. Me personally, I'm a Bishop Rotary type guy, so I'm real huge on always keeping up to date with every time Franco and them drop something new. It's like, all right, I gotta get that. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually like when I first started tattooing, I would use cheap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I started off as a scratcher, but then like working at the shops I worked at, they were the ones who were like, yo, you know, you invest into better quality needles, inks, machines and shit, your fucking art's gonna be amazing. And I see the difference, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what is really setting off the style of tattoos that are being put out now, is the quality of the equipment that we're starting to receive and technology changing.
Over the past couple of years though, hasn't black ink itself changed? Like now there's like a super black or something? I just saw it at the tattoo convention.
Yep, so like with me personally, I use a lot of triple black inks, whether it's dynamic triple black, or I use real black from Radiant, those are like my two favorite companies to use with when it comes to tattoo ink. But I love using, again, that heavy triple black where I can actually saturate it and dilute it the way I want to. So
what advice would you give somebody that would be interested in pursuing a career as a tattoo artist?
I mean, honestly, I'll go for it. You know, like put together a really awesome portfolio. I mean, I'll be a hypocrite if I tell them not to try to tattoo, you know, because I started off that way. But from the experience and shit like that, I would actually tell them to try to do it the more professional way. Go out and get an apprenticeship. Not because I don't want you out there fucking up. You're only going to learn from trials and tribulation, but there's so many other shit that can go wrong, different diseases you can catch. Not just you, but your client, you know what I'm saying? Or people in the surrounding area that can catch. So things like that, I'll definitely suggest people go out and do a professional apprenticeship. Just build up a portfolio, like, that's the main thing.
Before we wrap this up, is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel like you need to bring up about either the shop or yourself?
Nah, I think everything's up to date pretty much. So if you like this video, click on the link right here and give it a follow.